Julie Baumgardner, the CEO of First Things First, and I have with me Tamara Slocum. She is on our fabulous communications and marketing team. I've asked her to talk with me today about ways to handle anxiety about not getting your work done. You have two small children, one on the way, and just lots going on in the way of home life and work, and trying to accomplish it all without having massive amounts of anxiety. So let's just have a quick conversation about some things that you're focused on in order to be able to be the mom that you want to be and also be the team member that you're striving to be.
Absolutely. I'd love to talk about it.
I knew this was near and dear to your heart. So. Can we just talk about how kind of your own mindset and some of the conversations that we've actually had? Like, how are you working to prepare yourself to make it possible to do what you need to do for your children, but also to accomplish your work?
Yeah. So, starting off, it was I know for everyone, it's such a huge transition. And it was like, what are we doing? And we didn't know how long it was going to be for even. So I think now that we've been in this for, a month plus, some things that I initially did, and that I kind of have to continue to do is, really be honest with myself. I mean, it's easy to have the same expectations for yourself. I have really high expectations for myself. And so I'm like, I have to be productive. I have to do this. I want to be the best mom. I want to be the best employee. I want to get all of this done. And I have my to-do list, And during this quarantine, it's just been so different because I've had to figure out what it means to be productive and really be honest with myself. First and foremost, because I'm not superhuman. And so it's like my children, they're 4 and 2, and I'm pregnant. And so it's like my energy level is low because I'm constantly changing diapers and nap time and meal times and all this stuff. And thank goodness I don't have to homeschool. They can play, but they require a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And so I like to be able to spend time with them, but then also accomplish what I need to get done.
Yeah. Well, and we've had some heart to hearts about what expectations are and how we're going to engage with each other in terms of productivity, deadlines. And I mean, there's still work that has to get done, but how that happens looks very different today than it looked a month ago. I'm curious about conversations that maybe you and your spouse have had about even ways to be helpful or just your needs, so that you both, I know you're both working. So that it doesn't feel like, wait, I'm left with parenting and my work and you're just doing your work.
Yeah. Well, honestly, my husband is actually, he's a FedEx driver, so he's out all day. So he's actually working and going to work. So for him, he's like, nothing's changed, And then for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to
everything
take care of the kids. And and so it's really just having that ongoing conversation has been huge, because I'll have good days where the kids are awesome and they don't fight and they're just angels. And then I'll have awful days. And it's just constantly checking in with each other and having the conversation about what does the day look like. And so he can kind of come home and know what he's walking into and know how he needs to plug in. And that was huge for me, as I told him early in the beginning, like, I need you to come home, I need you to shower, and then I need you to immediately plug in. And if that is asking, how can I help? What do you need? Where am I best needed? Then that's what it is, and that's fine. But I also think communicating your needs, um, in acknowledging what we're all doing is huge. So I initially told him, I don't want to build up resentment that you're out of the house and you just get to go and do your job. And, there's stress that comes with that. I get that. But
Right.
like, I'm struggling. I have to do all this. I don't want to feel like I'm being taken for granted. And so that constant acknowledgement of like, thank you for what you're doing. And he thanks me for what I'm doing. And just being really, really generous with our compliments of each other in that way.
I love that you didn't leave it to his imagination to figure out or assume that he understood what you're experiencing, but that you kind of laid it out and that you were both responsive to that. That is significant. So
Yeah.
I love that. What about, I mean, just, okay, so I know that you're driven, I think you would qualify as type A. Um, how are you dealing with yourself, like your own self-talk? And we've had conversations when I've said, so how are things going? There have been days that you have said to me, not good.
Yeah.
I'm not accomplishing much at the moment, and I'm very frustrated.
Yeah.
How are you dealing with that internally so that you stay productive and don't get paralyzed?
Yeah. I mean, it's so true. There are days that it's like, wow, I'm rocking this. I'm amazing. And then there are days when I'm like on the floor in tears, like I can't do this. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst. And I feel like a failure. And I mean, if I'm being honest, the majority of this experience has been a battle between feeling like a failure most of the time and knowing that we're all kind of experiencing the same thing. And it's crazy to think that anybody could do it all in this way. And so just acknowledging that I'm not alone, that other people are going through the exact same thing, and giving myself that grace to just know that I am not a failure and that I'm doing my best, and knowing that when I am working at the capacity that I can work at, that I'm giving it as much as I possibly can. And because I fight with this idea of, oh my gosh, people are going to think I'm slacking. They're thinking that I just don't want to work. They're thinking all of these like bad things about me. But the truth is, no, they're not, because we're all experiencing this, and we're all trying to navigate these waters.
Well, and I was sitting here thinking as you were talking that on the employer side of things, I'm not thinking you're a slacker or that you're failing. And we've talked about that before. And so it also occurs to me that checking in with your team and asking the questions, how do you think I'm doing?
Yeah.
And just getting that support up underneath you, whether it's your actual team that you work with or people that are just part of your tribe who are saying, wow, let's talk realistically about what this looks like. And are you really telling yourself the truth? Because I do think for those of us who are really, really driven, it's a struggle to feel like, gosh, I'm not accomplishing as much as I would normally accomplish.
Absolutely. And I think that that's been one thing that's been really helpful on the team that I'm on, is when there's a new project, we ask each other, what can you realistically accomplish and in what time frame? And so it's this really clear communication and honesty with each other, with ourselves and with each other, about, okay, so I have this amount of time before this kid needs to go down for a nap, and this and this and this. And then, the cool thing about it is our team has people who don't have kids and who have more time to kind of step up. And for me, it's been a struggle to take that help because I don't want it to seem like I can't do it, because I'm like, I'm capable, I can do everything. But at the same time, allowing other people who do have more time and who are willing to help and want to be there for you during this time, letting them do that and knowing that they're not thinking negatively about you. They're not viewing you as less than or anything like that. So it's like a constant, like, pep talk in my head, like, you're
Yeah.
good, you're enough, you're awesome. Like, I have to just keep reminding myself that I'm not this slacker or something.
Yeah. Well, I think you make two really interesting points. The deadline piece
Mm-hmm.
is helpful because there are some things that have to have fast turnaround. I mean, they just do. And to know the framework within which you are working actually helps you to order your day. So I think that's powerful. And it makes me think about, we can all day long say, I can't because of this, but thinking through, how can I, what do I need, and who can help me, uh, is, I think, helps us actually accomplish what we're all trying to accomplish together. And that is the other thing that you made such a great point about, is that we are a team,
Yeah.
and that this will not go on forever. There will be changes in how we do things, but being able to relinquish or let someone come alongside you and be helpful or take something off of your plate, and not feel like uh, I'm I'm not good and I'm not producing because they did that, I think also leads you to a much more constructive, positive mindset about working from home and parenting at the same time.
Absolutely. And when you have that support and when you have that communication and all of those kind of ways that you are able to handle that creeping anxiety of like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, whatever. Um, you actually, that positivity radiates to your children. And like, I have noticed that when I'm less stressed, my kids are less stressed, so they behave a little bit better, and then I get more done. It's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
That right there, I'm so glad you said that. I used to, in my early career, I worked with young children, and it is incredible how even really, really young infants pick up on our stress levels.
Yeah.
And when they feel our stress as the parent, man, you are on it. It is so true. They tend to, it's like, oh my gosh, something's wrong. Mom's not doing well. And the only way they know how to handle that is kind of to act it out. And that just makes us more stressed. So it's this
Exactly.
perpetual cycle that isn't helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, as much as I can, I know that right now there's not really a great uh, balance per se, but as much as I can, I do give them my undivided attention at certain times so that when I do need to get something done, they they kind of feel fulfilled and okay, mom gave me this attention.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and again, they're toddlers and they're young children, so sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and you have good and bad days, and you try and replicate, well, Tuesday was amazing, so I'm going to do exactly that, and then it doesn't work. I mean, it's parenting, but in general, the less stressed I feel,
Yeah.
the better the outcome all day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much for being willing to be transparent and talking about the things that are working for you, because I think for all of us, when you talk about being honest with yourself and your employer, communicating your needs to your spouse, your support system, and showing yourself some grace, in addition to just recognizing that if you carry the stress, your kids they know it, they feel it, and they'll act upon that. Those are all great points for us to remember as we're thinking and trying to navigate through this. And I do believe that it will be helpful to lots of folks. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.